What's up, Legion? Welcome back to I Still Call It a Lariat. We are a pro wrestling podcast. My name is Steve Zapf, and today we are going to preview AEW Full Gear 2025 from Newark, New Jersey, my home state, at the Prudential Center. This is going to be a big show for them, although I do obviously have some critiques, but before we get into all that, I want to talk for a second about the passing of two legends this past weekend. We had George Tahinos, who was a great photographer. He worked a lot with the original ECW. He was very well known in that circle. And of course, Bob Caudle, who was the voice of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. The wrestling world is saddened by these losses. I know that this is a little later than most people have talked about it, but this is the first time we've gotten a chance to say anything on air, and we wish their friends and families the absolute best after the passing of these two extraordinary gentlemen. But with that, let's move on to AEW Full Gear 2025. And we're going to do something a little differently that we haven't done in a while. Obviously, Showtime is not here. He was pulled away this week again. So I am running the show completely solo. Your impresario has this, don't worry. But we are going to talk about the pre-show matches a little bit. The first, of course, being that Big Boom AJ is going to be on the pre-show, teaming with QT Marshall against Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. This is the good part of the pre-show that I want to talk about because I'm so excited for AJ. I think him and QT obviously take this. I think this is their revenge for, I believe, Rocky pushed over Big Justice, and this is where they finally get to exact a small measure of revenge, or in this case, maybe a big measure of revenge. Who knows how much of the Don Callis family they'll take out at this point, which could really affect the show down the line as well. The other match that is being advertised for the pre-show right now that I want to get into is there is a 4-way tag team match. It's going to be Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, not the Acclaimed, at least not yet, versus Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson, Big Bill and Brian Keith, and the Outrunners. I only want to bring up this match because on the same show that they're doing a $1 million trios match, during the pre-show, they're doing a $200,000 giveaway match in a 4-way. I've talked about this before. This gimmick sucked in the 70s. This gimmick sucked in the 80s. This gimmick sucks now. And Tony Khan keeps doing this stupid gimmick of it being a money match. Like these guys that are on the pay-per-views aren't already making a ton of money. I understand the gimmick with the Young Bucks, but how many times are they going to keep putting up money? The other teams aren't putting up the money, so it's not a matter of, well, we'll put up $1 million of our own money. It's a crap gimmick. Tony Khan, if you're listening, like I know you are, stop doing this gimmick. This is a dumb gimmick. Nobody likes it. Nobody. It doesn't make any sense. It has no real value to it. Now then, with the pre-show done though, let us move on to the main show. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches on this show. And I'm going to start off this show. I don't think this is actually going to start it off. Normally we have it pretty well planned out, but let's see how it goes. It's going to be a 4-way women's tag team match, with the winner picking the stipulation in their semifinal match for the women's tag team tournament. I get wanting these girls to be on the show. I would have rather have just seen the matches for the tournament, but at the same time, I get it. Either that or just make this the actual final. The last 4 teams are legitimately in the final, or are legitimately in this match. So you've got the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron, Willow Nightingale, Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue, Timeless Love Bombs, Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, and the only team without a name, Megan Bain and Marina Shafir. So I don't know who wins this match because I don't know who a stipulation helps out the most or helps out their match the most. The Babes of Wrath, I have a special place in my heart for Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale. I think Willow Nightingale is a massive talent that should be getting pushed to the moon and is stuck in this happy to be here gimmick. I would really like her to not be so happy sometimes. Harley Cameron, though not the best wrestler in the world, is an extremely attractive girl, but also extremely talented in so many other ways. She's fairly new to wrestling, but she is just a talented person, musician, ventriloquist, all of this stuff that she actually does, singer, songwriter, all of this stuff. And she's just super talented. So there's a special place in my heart for these people. The Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I've been saying that Julia Hart is a star in the wrestling business. I just don't know if she's a star as a wrestler. More so, I would have liked to have seen her stuck with Brody King and been his valet throughout this whole thing. I think that dynamic just worked the best for both of them. But now she is teamed up with Sky Blue again, and Sky Blue is an extremely dedicated wrestler. I say dedicated. I think she takes unnecessary chances like she did in Blood and Guts recently. I think that it may end up shortening her career and Julia's as well because they're both young girls, and I think that they're taking undue chances. Timeless Love Bombs, Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, two huge stars in this company. Toni Storm, arguably the biggest women's star in this company, and Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. Megan Bayne, who has kind of been toiling away in this weird mid to upper mid card status, and Marina Shafir, who I don't care how much she runs with Moxley, I don't care how much they try to push her. First of all, the mother's milk finisher is stupid. As a jiu-jitsu practitioner, I am telling you that it is a dumb hold. Secondly, I don't buy her. Like, she's a legitimate tough guy, and I don't buy her as a legitimate tough girl, tough woman. And I don't buy it. I like when she comes out there, just everything about her screams fake and phony. But with that said, this match, there's going to be a lot going on. There's probably going to be a ton of Jamokin going on. I'm gonna I gotta make a pick. I know Showtime will make his picks later. I think it's gonna be Timeless, honestly. I think after they kind of announced what their possible stipulations would be, I think I think it's gonna be Timeless, Toni Storm, and Mina Shirakawa getting to choose the stipulation against Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. Moving on from a match with the Death Riders to another match with, well, the Death Riders, is Jon Moxley is facing Kyle O'Reilly in a no-holds-barred match. First of all, there are no holds that are barred anymore. There are no holds that are barred anymore. Everyone does everything, especially in Jon Moxley matches. All that this is a name, and at least there's finally an excuse for him to do stupid crap. I hope Kyle O'Reilly wins this match. I hope that this whole thing is for that. Kyle O'Reilly is getting a major, major push after this. I would like to see him getting pushed towards one. If they're since they're gonna be doing the Continental Classic again, either getting a push towards the Continental title or getting a push towards, since it might not be unified after this, the international title. I would really like that to happen, but who knows, because they've been toiling away with Kyle O'Reilly too. Here's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Hands down, one of the best wrestlers in the world. You want to see some great stuff, go back and watch Kyle O'Reilly's old NXT stuff. It is phenomenal. Even some of the stuff he did right in the beginning when him and Bobby Fish were still doing Red Dragon in AEW. Some of that stuff is really, really good. And then, of course, the original Red Dragon stuff. Jon Moxley, I don't care what anyone says, he is still the worst men's wrestler in the world today. I don't buy him. I don't buy him as a tough guy. I don't see any of this working. Jon Moxley has not worked in a while. I would not be surprised if there's something going on behind the scenes, but his gimmick doesn't work. He makes stupid facials. Even his promos don't work anymore, and I'm just tired of Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley needs to go away for a little while because he's been too front and center for way too long with this company again, and the fans don't even want to see him. They don't care that he's getting beat. They don't care. So when the guy that was your biggest heel in your company allegedly is getting beat and no one cares, it's time to go away. So my pick for this is, as I said, Kyle O'Reilly. Let's move on again from the Death Riders to, Jesus Christ, the Death Riders again. In a match that I think might actually shock people, this is one of those matches where this is a just straight up wrestling singles match. Darby Allin versus Pac. This match could possibly steal the show. For anyone who doesn't understand, Darby Allin has talent, and when he's put in there with the right dance partner, can deliver a phenomenal wrestling match. Let me say that into the mic one more time. A wrestling match. Now then, I think Pac might be that guy to deliver it with him. I think Pac is a phenomenal wrestler, and I think he should have been getting pushed to the moon way sooner. He should have. There was so long that every time he was involved in a match, I was just kind of like, well, yeah, it's going to be good, but he's not going to win. Now that he's back from this injury, he's got the short hair. I don't know how I feel about that, but let's see. Him and Darby could really put something together nicely. I think part of the reason he's wearing the different outfit is he kind of needs it to cover up some of his injury stuff. But I really, really want to see this match. I want to see how this goes. I think that, like I said, I think this could possibly steal the show. This is going to be a really good, just straight up wrestling match. This might be what ends up being my favorite match on the card. Normally, I don't speak this highly of Death Rider stuff, but it's Pac. It's a little different. And at the end of the day, if you're doing this right, Darby should absolutely win this match. Now then, on to a match that does not involve the Death Riders. Finally, we have Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander in, you betcha, a $1 million trios match. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Kenny Omega is a part-timer. Jurassic Express, whatever you want to call them, are just here to get some nostalgia pops. The Bucks are they're not eliciting reactions anymore. Josh Alexander is stuck in this, and he's easily the best wrestler involved because Omega is not the Kenny Omega he was 5 years ago. And I understand he had the diverticulitis. He's had a lot of things going on. He's not the guy he was. So this match doesn't excite me the way Kenny Omega versus Josh Alexander might have a few years ago. I think this is the Young Bucks turning face. I think there's only two options for this. One are the Young Bucks turning face, which no one really wants because no one likes them. Their faces are way too punchable, as I like to say with certain guys. And the other option is they join the Don Callis family. I hate to tell you this, both of those options suck. There's not one version of this where this is a good idea. The Bucks don't need to be part of the Don Callis family, and they don't need to be turned faces. They once again need to leave. No one missed them while they were gone. I think this is the coming out of the Bucks as faces, though, and finally siding with Omega and Jurassic Express and getting the money out of that situation. I mean, Jurassic Express just won, I believe it was $500,000 in their last match with these guys. Yeah, $500,000 last month. So they're going to get basically another $500,000 this time. No matter what, they're getting their million. It's still kind of just dumb, guys. It's just dumb. But I do believe that we're going to go Jurassic Express on this one. And that moves us on to the AEW World Tag Team titles. Brodito, that's right, Bro Chacho versus FTR for the AEW Tag Team titles. I really wish I wanted to see this match more. FTR has been kind of booked into oblivion. All the stuff they did with Edge and Christian kind of ended up going nowhere since Edge just left. He just left, and Christian left with him, basically. I don't get it. So unless I do believe that FTR is going to finally win these tag team titles. And with that said, I think the fact that they're going to win the match, I want to believe in good booking here. And I want to believe that at the end of this, Edge and Christian are going to show up as basically Edge and Christian. We're going to get real Christian Cage, not asshole Christian Cage. He's going to show up. He's going to have the hoodie. He's going to have the proper gear on and stuff like that. And him and Edge are going to come out, Adam Copeland, whatever you want to call him, and they're going to get an actual tag team title shot and possibly a tag team title run, because at the end of this is all the nostalgia fans of Edge and Christian really wanted, was them to get one more run as a real tag team. Not this, we're kind of a tag team, we're kind of not a tag team. No, let them be a tag team. Let them win the tag team titles. Let them face FTR, let them face some of these established tag teams, and then let them ride off into the sunset and be nominated and inducted into whichever Hall of Fame you think they deserve to be, because they do deserve to be in Hall of Fames. I know Edge is, but I believe the tag team deserves to be in a Hall of Fame too. So I think the heat, the steam, if you will, around Brodito has kind of cleared a little bit. I think now that the dust has settled, I think they're not as hot as they were. And I think they're trying to make FTR back to what they were. I don't know if it's working, but at the same time, I think that FTR is going to win this. I think this also shows Tony Khan has said that he wants to get back to where they were in like the first year or first 2 years, and with the way he was booking by himself. And I think that FTR wins this. I think a lot of the way that you've seen it booked now is Tony trying to go back to the way he was booking back in 2020, 2021, when some of these booking ideas didn't make sense. And again, I don't know if FTR winning makes as much sense if Edge and Christian do not come back, because I don't know what the next step for these two guys would be, or for Brody King and Bandito, if you will, unless they're just going to let them go off and be singles guys after this. Now, one of the matches that I think it will be good, Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT title against Mark Briscoe in a no DQ match that if Briscoe loses, he has to join the Don Callis family. That gimmick makes it a lot harder for me to pick. I want to believe that since this is the last time he's getting a shot or he has to join, that it should be Briscoe. Of course, I thought the same thing last time, that he wasn't going to get another shot and that he was going to win it this time or that time. I'm going Mark again. I'm gonna say it. I think Kyle Fletcher is bigger than the TNT title, and I think it would be good if he was not holding the TNT title right now. I think he needs to be holding something higher up. I think once they separate the Continental Championship and the international title, I think he's a perfect number 2 mid-card guy right now. And honestly, I think he needs to start getting pushed up the card to really being the guy to hold the world title. He's the guy. Him or Takeshita or somebody, they need to start pushing that. It's a little weird that Takeshita and Okada both are not on this card. I would only assume that is because they're going to be in the next match that we're going to talk about. But as far as Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe, please keep Mark Briscoe out of the Callis family. They have too many members as it is, and it's just watered down. Him joining doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything for them. It doesn't do anything for him. It doesn't do anything for this gimmick. This is just where we're at now, guys. I don't see it. If Briscoe doesn't win this match at this point, after being basically 5-1 or whatever it is, 4-1 against Fletcher, where Fletcher has beaten him 4 times and only lost 1, and it was kind of a crap loss. What are we doing at this point? We're just burying Mark further and further down the... I get it. Wins and losses in pro wrestling don't always matter. At some point, they do matter. And if we don't have Briscoe win this, I don't know what you do with Mark Briscoe after this, because even him turning on the Callis family doesn't do anything. The next match that I want to talk about is the Casino Gauntlet for the new AEW National title. You know what this company needs? Another mid-card title. Tony, stop. You don't need another championship. You didn't need the women's tag team title. You don't need this. You don't need the trios title. You have 3 hours of national television and 9 titles. What the hell, dude? With that said, I know the NWA is really mad about this because they actually have a national champion, Mike Mondo, who's a phenomenal wrestler. And they have been using the national title for the last several years, ever since Billy Corgan took over. I wouldn't be surprised if the NWA and Billy Corgan send cease and desist. Like, they should not be allowed. The same reason why they weren't allowed to use the Intercontinental title. I would not be surprised if they were not allowed to use this at some point. This is pointless. This title does not matter. It will get lost in the shuffle, just like every other title does at this point. If everyone has a championship, then no one has a championship. And if everyone is special, then no one is special. With that said, your number 1 and your number 2 entrants into this are going to be Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They are going to have the Hurt Syndicate go at it for the first couple minutes of this match. I love that. That part of this will be awesome. The other 2 people that we know for a fact are entrants into it are Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. The Casino Gauntlet is a match that I do love the gimmick of. Showtime and I speak of it a lot of times, where they say that like we like to talk about how most gauntlets It's whoever's left standing at the end. You know, you have to, whoever just keeps winning is eventually the winner. I like that this gauntlet is whoever gets the first pinfall wins the match, or whoever gets the first submission, whatever it is. But this match could be just Shelton and Lashley if it goes quick, or this match could be, 21 different people. I really like that idea of it. With that said, I don't know if they put it, I don't think they put it on Lashley and Shelton. I slightly think they might put it on Ricochet. I don't know what they're doing with other people, but this would be possibly a really good time for returning MJF to get a title. I could also see them putting this belt on someone who they think is really good and is also kind of pointless. Like, I could see this going on random luchador number 5. Like, this could be a hologram title. With that said, we don't know who's going to be in this match. It makes it a lot harder to pick. I'm going to put Ricochet for right now. If we start hearing some more people throughout the rest of the week before Saturday, now mind you, I am recording this and posting this on Thursday. So if by Saturday we hear some stuff, maybe Showtime and I will be able to make better picks. But for right now, you're getting just me, just my picks, just Steve Zapf. That's right. The leader of the Legion of Lariat is the only one making picks today, and you guys get to hear it. And I'm happy that you're here with us, by the way, guys. I have some cool announcements at the end of this show that I can't wait to really go over, but we'll get there when we get there, right? The next match for the AEW Women's World Title. By the way, guys, I'm not going to call it the Men's World Title at the end of this. Chris Statlander, your champion, defending against Mercedes Moné, the 14 or 13 belt holder. I have mixed emotions on this. First of all, Mercedes belt collecting for me seems pointless. My reason why I feel it's pointless is, first of all, I don't think she's actually putting these other promotions on any type of map. The titles that she has that matter are like the CMLL title, this title, and possibly the Rev Pro title. Those are the only ones that really matter in the world of pro wrestling, at least to a point. Secondly, Mercedes is getting this shot. I understand it. She wants to say that she's the top woman. So she had a shot at Toni Storm. She lost. She lost to Toni Storm. She lost to the former AEW Women's World Champion while she was still the Women's World Champion. At best, that puts you at number 2. You're the mid-card champion. You're the mid-card women's champion, and you lost to the world champion cleanly. Chris Statlander came in, and you can say it was a multi-person match, but she pinned the champ and then beat the champ clean. Chris Statlander is the actual undisputed AEW Women's World Champion. And she beat the undisputed AEW Women's World Champion. There's no interim title. There's nothing like that. What that means is Mercedes, at best, is technically number 3 in this company the way they booked it. Now, if she doesn't win this title, I don't know what this does for all the belt collecting. And I don't know what it and if she does win this title, I don't know what it does for all this belt collecting. Because if all of this is not for her to win the world title at some point, I don't know what we're doing here, guys. I don't know. This should be, I want to say, if you had done this right, she should have already been losing these titles. But if you have her lose to Statlander here, I think she needs to start losing all of them and lose her mind. I know everyone keeps saying it. And no, don't bring her back as a face. She is not a baby face. No one actually wants to cheer for her, just for the record. You can't have her be booked as a baby face, but you need to have her almost do like a Happy Corbin thing or a poor Corbin or whatever you want to do it, where Baron Corbin kind of lost everything. You need to do that with Mercedes Moné. She needs to lose everything. She needs to lose every single title. And then at the end of it, they need to even take away the Owen Cup title from her because they're going to start running the Owen Cup soon. I think Statlander should win this match. That is who should win this, because you need to have Mercedes go down this downward spiral. She needs to lose all these titles. She needs to lose the TBS title, honestly, to probably someone that she shouldn't really lose to at this point. I think that would be the real kicker. Is she loses it? She loses to Chris Statlander, who is the AEW World Champion. She loses the TBS title to, I don't know, just some random women's wrestler on this roster, a Harley Cameron, a Julia Hart, a Sky Blue, something like that. I'm just looking at people that are on here right now. And then she just goes, she's downwards. She just spirals and spirals and spirals. And then eventually she has to start picking up wins, real wins. And she does. And yeah, it seems like this could be a babyface gimmick. I don't think it will be. I think it needs to be that she starts winning. I think she needs to start losing titles. And then the only reason why she starts getting wins back is through pure, unadulterated cheating. Because here's the thing, guys. No one wants to cheer for her. I don't care if you say you're a fan of hers. I am not. But she is not a good babyface. She has never played a good babyface. In order for her to be a good babyface, she needs somebody with her that you like. The reason why she was a good babyface at one point in WWE was she was with Bayley, who everyone loved. People don't like her by herself. And I'm not saying she's necessarily a bad person. I'm just saying she's not a very likable person. Now then, we move on to our main event of the night. The main event. Adam Hangman Page, the World Heavyweight Champion. See what I did there? Versus Samoa Joe in a steel cage. I'm going to bring up what's wrong with this. First, what's wrong is that they're in a steel cage 10 days after they just did a free show with a double ring steel cage, 2 double ring steel cage matches with multi people, and they're going to do a one-on-one steel cage match for 2 guys who have not been running from each other and have not had interference in their matches. So a steel cage, the whole reason is to either keep somebody out or to keep the participants in. It has no reason in this match. And this match has no reason, because as much as Joe jumping Hangman prompts this match, Hangman last month beat him clean, flat. 3 buckshot lariats, pin, 1, 2, 3. Joe is down. No almost kick out, no foot on the ropes that the ref didn't see. Middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, done. There was no cheating involved, nothing. There was nothing questionable about this match. There was no point where we watched this match and said, hey, you know what? Hangman might not actually have won that. No, he won this match. He won it cleanly. He didn't, Joe didn't slip on a banana peel even. He just lost. I don't know why we're getting this match. I halfway hope Samoa Joe does win this match, just because Hangman Page's title reign has felt long, very, very long, and it has not been that long. Realistically, we're on month like 3 or 4, and it has felt like month 9 or 10 already. I don't know. I think Hangman still wins this because I don't think they put it on Joe. But at the same time, this has been a very, very long title reign. And I don't know what we do to make him more exciting. I think he's one of those guys that he's better on the chase than he is with the belt. And maybe we need to get him back to that or get him involved in a feud that people care about. Maybe somebody like Swerve comes back around and we can finally get that back going again. But I don't know what they do with Hangman after Joe. I don't see who the next world champion contender is, because most of the guys that I would consider world championship contenders are baby faces right now. They're lacking real heels, unless, and I said this for the national title, we get MJF back, and MJF is a real killer, and he cashes in that. I believe he still has the contract actually for the title. So let's see how that works. And well, so guys, that was AEW Full Gear 2025. Let me know what you think of my picks. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know what you think is going to be good on the show. Let me know if you disagree with everything that I've said. Let me know either way. I want to know from the Legion. I want to hear from you guys. We always answer you when you comment on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, on any of those, and any platforms. I promise you, you will get an answer. And all of our social media accounts are down below in the links. You can message us. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think of each person. I promise you, you'll get an answer. But with that said, there's a lot of big things coming through to the Lariat Podcast Network. As you have seen, down the wrestling rabbit hole. Excuse me, I got to learn how to talk again after all that. Down the wrestling rabbit hole has been doing great things. Howard Morgan and Mozart Fontaine are having amazing just shows going down a very, very deep rabbit hole sometimes, and it's a lot of fun to watch and listen to. Also, we are going to start doing You Heard It Here Worst. That's right. It is going to be a completely nonsensical show that is going to be hosted by our good friend, Mr. Brock, and co-hosted by Fifth and our good friend Gabe. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think everyone should start taking a look at that show when it starts coming out. And by the new year, honestly, there should be about 4 to 5 other new shows on the network. Our good friend Michael Mars is going to be taking over, hosting and doing some interviews with some different indie wrestlers and just wrestlers in general. Mozart Fontaine, our good friend from down the wrestling rabbit hole, is going to be doing his own show. Howard Morgan should be taking over wrestling history with his show. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on soon, and I'm super excited. And Legion, you guys are the ones making this possible, because if the shows weren't growing and we weren't getting views, I wouldn't be doing this. So thank you. I love doing this. I love talking wrestling. I love doing this podcast. I love being on and being allowed to talk to all of you for as much as I can. And I just wanted to say thank you again. We really do appreciate it. As Showtime always says, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the comments, do whatever. Tell a friend, tell a stranger, talk about, I still call it a Lariat. We are a quickly growing wrestling podcast, and now a quickly growing channel and network that will continue to keep just doing the best product that we can possibly give you. And with that, I don't have much else to say. So guys, remember, tune in for our follow-ups on this. We'll have the review for this next week, review for Full Gear, and the preview for Survivor Series as well. But until then, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.